technology. In teaching in teaching activities, university provide the professional training for high-level job as well as the education necessary for the development of the personality. So in our country, status quo in our country, as we know, based on the data, every single year, this data is very accurate. Every single year, Indonesia ranking on global university is decreasing. The top university in Indonesia, like Gajah Mada, for example, Gajah Mada University, which is considered by a lot of Indonesian citizens to be the top university in Indonesia. Yet it only ranked 264 in the global chart. The ranking of Indonesian university cannot even compete to this like of Southeast Asian and cannot even compete in top 20 university of Asia. Of course, this is unbelievable and we need to improve it. Yes, this should be a introspection that has a lot to it. And our government team, believes that there are several factors that must be improved. But one of them, and the most important one out of it, is university capability of employability. Okay, so our stand is that why the government team agree with this motion. The government is, and I would like to tender my hereby. I stand with the motion. I support the motion that this house would allow students to sue the university for the lack of employability. Why? And the reason is to significantly improve our education aspect, especially university, since it's the institution who create teachers and lecturers around Indonesia, and in correlation to the whole wider range of education, it is connected. For example, in university, the graduates of university, they will be in many aspects of the world, especially in Indonesia, especially in the education system. They will be the teachers of our prime school or our elementary school, in the middle school. So they are connected with a wider aspect of education. University will not only be the one who so if we agree with the motion, university student will not only be the one who affected by it, but our whole education system. So the limitation I set for today is Indonesian education in university. So the definition of motion today is employability means the quality of being suitable, and lack of mean absent of something needed. So I summarize the motion today is this house allows students to sue the university for the absence of something that really needed, for something that really needed in the education, the quality of lecturers of education. Okay, my argument is the student has the right regarding their education process. Student, they can voice the disappointment because student is the important one of the important people to change, to save our future, because it will if they feel disappointment, if they feel dissatisfied by the current education system, it will certainly affect their traits, their smartness in the long-term development of their education. Student is the agent of change who will be the leaders of this country in the future. So the university actually saved the leader of the country, of this country, of Indonesia. So what the leader needed, what the leaders needed is a good education system in starting from university that can connect it to the middle school, to the elementary school. So if their attribute and needed is not fulfilled, it will harm their performance as the leader in the future. It will harm their performance. So we need to think not only as right now, but to the future as well. Okay, so I propose execution and mechanism for this debate today to make our team position slightly higher than the other team. First of all, the first mechanism, there are four mechanisms. The first one, the government want to improve communication by holding activities aimed at accommodating student aspiration in the academic field and what needs to be improved. So the university need to hold activities to learn what the student wants to, what the student wants for the education, what's lacking in the education. So the university will hear it directly from the student. So the organization from the university organization can help this. And second, the second mechanism is to tighten the selection or of admission for lecturers and campus official and provide additional training and education regarding regarding the in the university education. So they need to more pay attention to more how they selected lecturers. So and they to do that they will have to do to they have to conduct more training so that the human resource of lecturers will be better, and it will certainly affect our future. Third, as university demand university to punish lecturers who act arbitrarily in teaching and provide facility for those who want to improve, for the lecturer who want to improve the skills. And the fourth one, for the government to protect student right to for the government to facilitate the student right to voice their disappointment and create the law to help protect it. I believe there is a law to protect every single citizen of Indonesia to voice their opinion, but there is no protection against the one who the university student. So I want to, if there is a already law existing, I need the government to strengthen the law so that they have to know why a student is the essential person who will be the agent of change. So for the last one, so I think that uh, this house, our team fully support this motion because it will affect us not in just in a certain aspect, not in just the in student university scope, but the entire Indonesia will be in prosperity, but not in the past, not the current time, but the future time. The future time as well. Thank you. That's it for my argument. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much for that fine speech. Now, to open the case for the opposition bench, we'll call upon the leader of opposition. You're here.
Checks. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
All right. I'm gonna start my speech in three, two, one. Education is mattered nowadays, and of course, uh, lots of people wants to continue their study as high as possible, and uh, in hopes that if they have a good education, it will increase their possibility to uh, reach the bright future. And then uh, in today's motion is uh, the students uh, would show the university because of its lack of employability. And as the leader of oppositions, I would strongly disagree with this motion because of uh, three main reasons. The first reason is because before I talk about my reasons, I will say that my reason is uh, focused on students' point of view. The first one is uh, your future, our future as a students, is it depends on ourselves. We cannot depends our future to the others, even though on the university. And then the second point is we cannot depend on our future because depends our futures on the mark of our lectures. And then third point is it true that sometimes reputable university tend to have lots of opportunity for their students to give a proper work, a proper job in their future, but uh, there's other reasons why we cannot choose our university because their lack of employability. And then I will explain one by one. The first one is your future, our future as a student is not. It depends on ourselves. Why? Because the first one is uh, the government says that uh, university must give proper facilities to the students in order to change the world, to shape our world. But uh, we we don't know the main problems of this of your argument is that because of the university cannot give us proper facilities for the students, or it is just because the students cannot uh, give a maximum knowledge, maximum ability to shape their mind, or to enlarge their knowledge in order to have a bright jobs in the future. So that's why in Indonesia there's a lot of job vacancies that doesn't require a university uh, accreditations or university background. Why? Because they know that even though a lot of students came from reputable university, it doesn't mean that they have a capable ability to work on the role of the jobs. That's the reason. That's the first reason. And then second reason is uh, it is not the university responsibilities to give a sufficient work for the students' future. Why? Because of course, this teacher may have a connections to maybe to the company, and then it can be easier to students to find a company because of their lectures uh, suggestions. But the university's responsibility is to teach, to give, and to facilitate their students to uh, grow their ability in their uh, in our subject. So that's why we cannot sue or blame our university because of their lack of employability. And then uh, back to my second point, as I said before, that we can depend our future jobs from the mark of our lecture. As I said before, there's yeah, because Indonesian rank in the terms of reading interest is very low. That's can reveal that our education is still low. It is not because of the university, but because of student itself, because they have no interest in reading more and lots of books. And then that's why uh, we have to make sure that it's a real mark. Sometimes we have no, maybe we have a good mark, and then we imagine that we have a bright future, we have a proper job in the future, but we have to make sure, we have to uh, be uh, be honest to ourselves that is that a real mark or not? Is that are your honest results of your assignment or not? Notice that there's a lot of cheating activity in Indonesia. That of course we all of us know that there's a lot of cheating strategy in our culture in every university. So that's why we must make sure at first is that because of our lack university uh, responsibility to give a job because of we think the grade is very important, and then we blame for the good grade and we don't have a proper job in the future, but we must make sure that it's our real grade or not. So it's very irrelevant if it depends on the mark of the lecture. And I think it's real, and think that the uh, university, and of course it's from its lecturer's mark, it will guarantee the student's future work or job. And then the last point is uh, sometimes reputable university uh, people agree that reputable university will give a proper work in the future. But in today's reality, notice that there's a lot of job vacancy that doesn't require accreditations from the university, and most of them just test the student at the real, I mean, like interview, just to know that they are capable to do the work. So we must concern to the point, to the student's point of view instead of others' point of view. So that's why this opposition, this side is strongly disagree if we can show our university or blame our university because of its like employability. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much for that speech. Now, to respond to the case of the leader of opposition, we'll call upon the Deputy Prime Minister. You're here.
Can you guys hear my voice clearly?
Actually, no, there's a slight feedback.
How about right now?
Oh, yeah, it's all good.
All right. I'm okay. I'm Dilian Saputri. Oh yeah, I'm Dilian Saputri as Deputy Prime Minister. If you guys have want to give me POI, please write it on the chat box. And if I'm not answer it, that means I don't accept your POI. So I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. So first of all, I will start with my rebuttal first. So the previous speaker said that we can depend our future by ourselves. Yes, that's true. But actually, we still need our lectures, and in this case, it's the employment of the universities as people, because there are people that skilled in academical, like for the because a lecturer is one of the academical people that direct and involved with a student directly, and they hold the biggest power in education in universities. Like before go to the citizen, for the example, I'm a student of educational faculty, and to become a good teacher and to understand how to teach my future students, I should know I should know a lot of things from my lecture, like the material, how I handle the kids, how I teach how I teach English to my student as a foreign language, and if I don't know all these materials, how can I teach them? How where can I learn if that's not from my lectures? And maybe if you say if the private and the speaker before said about we can depend on ourselves. That means maybe we learn by ourselves. Yeah, that's correct. We can do that, but it's still not good enough. Just imagine if me don't know anything about grammar or linguistics. How can I learn? How can I understand that if there's no one who told me about that? If I just reading about a journal and or reading the article or reading the article or watch YouTube, that's not enough for me, because I still need a task that lecturer gives to me, because they know how the best for me. And because I don't have the capability of that information, I cannot be the great teacher for my future, and it's for my future student, and it's really dangerous for our nation, because if myself, for example, I cannot teach English for the future for my future students, how can I teach them if they cannot speak English? How can we survive, Indonesia especially survive in our globalization era when English is so important? And after that, I will begin my agreement. So I have 3 agreements. The first one is it's student rights to have a good capability, and the second one it's to make a work it side by side, the university side and the student side, and the third one because it's our right because we paid it. So the first one, it's student rights. As we know, getting out at the right, getting the good education, it's our right, and getting the best thing for our learning is our right to support education. Also, university is sometimes they press students to become a better, for example, to increase campus accreditation, but university forget that the accreditation cannot just come from one side. For example, university press students to join many competition or give a lot of money to support accreditation, but there's some universities that not really care about students themselves, like they just spread us without giving us a great lecture or a great teacher or maybe a great employment, because we still need that, because there's some lectures they just give us kind of like a video on YouTube and we just watch it, like in this pandemic era, in this pandemic situation, when we forced to study at home because we cannot go study to the campus of the because of the COVID pandemic. that means we cannot get the facility for campus. So campus should give us the great lectures and the great a great educate knowledge, so we can study better, not just giving us the video from YouTube and we watch it, because I bet, I'm pretty sure, when the teachers give us the video from YouTube, none of us are watching, because we think that we can watch it by ourselves later, but maybe just a little students that will really watch that because they forgot or something. Second, to make it well side by side. I said it because sometimes it's always from university side that want us to become better, but aspiration from student, it's hard to listen. So we as a student, as agent of change, we should change our from the little side first, like from the university side. If the university cannot give better employment to us, we should tell our aspiration. We should tell the campus that we need a better solution. We need a better employment, so we can be a better site. And the third one, we paid. We students, before joining the universities, we work hard and also gain money to join university. Today, reality, we can see a percentage of students who can continue to study in the university is really low. Most of them concentrate about money. Like what Najosi had said, being college student in this country is a privilege because not everyone can do it. So because we already in universities and we already can have this privilege, we should make sure that we get this privilege really, really right. We should have a better lecture. We should have the better facilities. We should have a lot of great things that campus should give to us. The employment in campus, there are a lot of, in reality, the employment in campus, there are a lot of employment, especially teach in this pandemic situation, having the greenness because at home studying or teaching at home, it's really difficult because there's a lot of distraction, and the campus actually should really be careful to choose the employment, because this lectures is part of the our nation future, because university students as agent of change need better lecture to just not just lectures that give us a video and ghost us, or just give us a text without telling us about the materials itself. If we just if we not get a better instruction for the from the lecture, how can us go directly to the civilian and become the agent of change? That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that fine speech. Now, to end the first half of the debate, we'll call upon the Deputy Leader of Opposition. Here.
Check. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, let me set my time first. 10.56. Okay, and I'm going to start my speech on 3, 2, 1. As a student who has finished his education, certainly has much of his learning, and certainly our teacher give him a great deal of learning, experience, and other training. But if in this case the student does not get it all, or in the future the student cannot get a good job, or they don't get information about that, or they still can afford to they still cannot afford to sue the university. And I'm here as a deputy leader of opposition. Sure, I want to rebuttal the argument of the government that's agree to sue the university if they lack the ability to achieve their success. Because I think their argument is not a problem solving in this case. And in here, I will bring 3 points to relating to this case. First of all, we must know that all university must have a student and teacher codes. I mean, code etik mahasiswa dan dosen. And I have read that both student and teacher code etik must be required. And they, student and teacher, must be required to be kind to each other, and they are required to take care the good name of the university, and to demand that it's no coherence or harmony in one education environment. The second things to do would be that the university name would be bad, and that would not only give impact for the future of the university, but also have impact for everyone who in this university. Will it not give more harm? And the third one in this case happened because a student would not feel like getting the knowledge or skill or something like that. For more detail, I will explain one by one. The first thing we need to know what is the code to ethic in the university, especially for a student, because in this case, the government say that they agree that student can sue the university for lack of employability. We all know that that is a not good idea, and maybe here I can come up with a few solutions, like they can increase their soft skill by join on organization or extracurricular, so they can get more soft skill like public speaking and others, and they will be get better future. And the second, when students are allowed to sue university for lack of employability, it can decrease the university reputation and give bad impact to all the human research in this environment. And if they can create a job, why not they do that? When universities start, the university student should be more creative and adaptive in any situation. In this case, I mean, make her own job as an entrepreneur. And the third one, we have to track down what students do in their lecture time, whether they are really doing what they are supposed to do, or maybe they are not doing well enough. And the lack of employability is not necessary due to university, but in the world of work. There's a lot of people get a good employability because they have a privilege too. And so in the end, I strongly opposite with the argument of the government who want to sue the university for because a lack of employability, because it's harm many make many harms impacts, and it's not a solution for this problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that speech. Now to open the second half of the debate, we'll call upon the member of the government bench. You're here.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Thank you. Before all of this, for POI prevents, please write your POI on the chat box. If I didn't mention it, it means I don't accept your POI. Thank you. I will start in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is member of government of the House. I want to reaffirm once again that today's motions is the House allows students to sue their university to their lack of employability and limitations from the Prime Minister on the scope of the university. Firstly, I will rebuttal to the opposition's argument. First, the opposition states that many jobs require the university to meet its requirements. In fact, nowadays, how much we see on social media that job requirement is required top university. For example, as a legal staff, one is required to come from the top 3 universities in Indonesia. And this is something we find a lot of. Thus, it can be seen that the opposition does not the reality itself. Or in the requirement to become a general manager, one is required to come from a university that already has A accreditations. 2. The oppositions mentioned a code of conduct or code etik dosen dan mahasiswa, but does not specify what should be required to express this disapproval. In fact, this can be done by students properly to their lecturers. So it can be said that the oppositions, it only assumed that the student will protest inappropriately. In fact, as we know, that students are highly level students who have high knowledge and study manners. They have manners to say what they don't like. 3. The opposition said that your university name will decrease, even though this is also relevant to point to that this problem is an internal university problem, not an external problem that can reduce the university name, can decrease the university name. This can be done by meditations between student and lecturers. And also, now, before starting to our argument, we would like to reaffirm the Prime Minister has said that getting an education is important and the right of all citizens. If the opening has discussed the right of education, then we will add a little the results of education. It's work. It is work. Is in our side, we believe that getting a decent job is the right of all citizens. The government in this case seeks to guarantee this right through education. A person who gets a proper education will generally get a decent job and decent living right. So it can be seen that education system has an important role in the success of its student, including university. University in the highest level in education system, which will have big influence on the student determine their career and their legacy to in their career in the career. As I said before, that many jobs are require the top university or university have capabilities. So universities should have good abilities in producing excellent students. However, is that the only responsibility of the university? The answer is not. University in this case must also maintain their credibility and their ability to ensure students get decent jobs because university are currently the conditions for job vacancies. The urgency of the current conditions shows that university play a major role in the world of work, both in terms of qualifications and in terms of the ability of students to develop in their competition on their ability. So the university must guarantee this. This is the natural. The latter there will be students who lack the capacity in terms of work than sue the university because their performance in producing workers is said to have felt certain. This is also relevant to the goals of the 8 SDGs as it explained by 2013 everyone will get a decent job. They will get a decent job. One of which is true education at the university level that will allow them to get a decent job. Now, let's put ourselves in a position if the university does not have ability to produce excellent students who are able to compete in the world of work. Of course, it will hinder the goal and hinder the progress of the country and guarantee of getting decent living for everyone. Thus, it has become imperative for university to improve the quality and ability university to ensure that students have competences and ability in the future for work. As stated above, the university is a milestone for students to continue in the world of work to get a decent work. If the university fails in terms to maintaining its performance to produce excellent students can sue for it. There are several steps that university can take to maintain their ability to produce excellent work students, and we also add some propose to strengthen our proposal rather than the oppositions by the Prime Minister has said. Apart from the government side, which can fix, we believe several things can be done by the university itself through several programs. We can set it one by one. One, actively hold events regarding work. This can be like workshops, seminars, or days of career. It can be affect to abilities the student itself. Two, tracing the alumni. Tracing alumni is an important because knowing the jobs of their graduates will increase the company's confidence in the university and also student confidence that the university is of high quality and has a good performance to produce graduates who excel in their respective fields of work. Three, conduct comparative studies with other universities to learn how can improve their abilities to ensure that their students have adequate competence. It's also related to our argument in the first that university is one of the requirements of the job. So by conduct comparative studies with other university, that university can learn from others how to improve their abilities to ensure that their students have adequate competence. So we strongly agree with these motions, and also we will reaffirm because one, the right of all citizens to get decent qualified jobs through the education system. Two, getting a decent job is the right of all citizens guaranteed in the constitutions and the goals of sustainable development. And if the university cannot guarantee the quality of the university, it will be a fake to obtaining decent work competencies, and it will destroy this right. If students get decent jobs, it will support the progress of the country because they are agents of change, as revealed by the previous opening government has said. Four, university play an important role in producing excellent and competent students. So we hardly agree and support with these motions because we are fighting for the welfare of students and their right to get decent work in the future. And also we proud to propose. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much for that speech. Now to respond to the case that was brought by the government member, will call upon the opposition member. You're here.
Okay. Is my sounds audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, I will start my motion at my argument at 3, 2, 1. Okay, this interesting topic. From this topic, we can clearly understand that the demands of students for their the students show for their university lack of work, skill, or job opportunities for them are unjustified, and an injustice in blaming a part or university. Students, the students of the universities, only to develop what they are interested in on campus, develop their field of study, knowledge, they master it, and it's clear that competence depends on them, not depends on campus or university. University is just being a media for them to empower their skill, to empower their knowledge, or to empower their specialization. And it's clear that competence depends on them, right? What they do on a campus will determine what they become in the future. It will become in they were looking for a jobs, looking for a work, especially in terms of work. We need to remember that they study in universities in a general, not they study at the university that owned by a company or corporation. That's an exception. Who's a graduate, their graduate from the university can be directly accepted in the company. And then, so the campus will not be able to guarantee whether the graduates can be immediately accepted to work or not. Okay, that's important point. The university doesn't have an answer. Them after they graduate, they have to get a job because they only apply a bridge. They only be a bridge or media to them to become eligible for work, not to ensure it, not to guarantee it. So the demands or sue, the complaint from the students in this is inappropriate for students to address the university about their eligibility and their guarantee of employment. So I think it is clear that the arguments and approval relating to the student can claims or sue against the university, against what I said, against student dependent uncertain things. They should be a good student from university. Of course, they will make themselves competent, expert in their field, instead of making them feel relaxed by guaranteeing they are worth and accepted in work. That's ridiculous, right? Some opinions say to improve the ability and competence of teacher and educational facilities, it will make a student have a big chance to receive any works. But it's wrong. It's not a solution because everything will return to the students. Let me repeat, everything will be returned to students. I mean, there will be a success, I get a job. I mean, the worth to be employment, it's based or depend on the students. Where that make them worthy of work and accepted for work is because of what they do on campus. Not what a campus do for them. Not what the campus promised to me, right? They should be give a freedom from, if they give a freedom from the university, the student, I think, should be able to develop themselves because they are free to develop themselves so that they deserve to be accepted in work. Once again, the campus is only a medium for a student to better prepare themselves to work, be a competent, developing their skill, and the campus is not a guarantee for them to get additional jobs. Imagine how if a university is required to guarantee their every graduates can be accepted for a work after graduate. This will be a chaotic and a problem because there are so many universities that exist. So maybe their goals are the same, that ensure their graduate having a job after graduate. Will the job vacancies is definitely a limit. This is where we understand that actually the role of the university is to make a student worthy to get a work. If we are back to the motion that they support the student to sue the university above the employability, that is not right, right? It's not right because just what I said, have I become a student or after graduate, it still depend on it depend on the students and depend what they are do in university. Okay, imagine there are so many graduates that applying for a job. I mean, in the corporation or institution, there will be as a mechanism of selection that the most worth student or graduate will be employed. So it means the point of this motion is a student is the only people who have been facilitated by a university to be a worth, not the university give them a promise if they are graduate, they will exactly get a work or get a job. That's all for me. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much for that speech. Now to end the case for the government bench, we'll call upon the government whip. Here.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, before I start my speech, if you want to make some POIs, just type in the chat section. Okay, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Madam Speaker. As the Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, and the government member said, I will summarize all of our arguments, and I have some points regarding to our statements that to prove that we, the government, agree with the motion. But first, the opposition has decided to hindering the right of the student for their freedom of opinion. Even though the opposition tried to keep the status quo, the students still restricted from still restricted in the freedom of opinion. Furthermore, the students almost don't have any right. Even the university allows them to make group of activists and student associations. This means that the opposition will kill the democracy from the smallest level of our nation. In this case, it's the educational institutes, and replace it with the authoritarian ones. If they kill the democracy and freedom from the smallest aspect, it will affect the bigger level in our life, like the state level and governmental level. And the opposition also trying to hindering the students as the agent of change. The lack of employability will affect all of the university's activities, both academic or non-academic levels. Remember, not all universities only have good side, but also the bad side, like the lack of employability. I have I have summaries from our side, the government, when the Prime Minister said most of the top Indonesian universities cannot compete in the Asian or world levels of the best universities because of some lack of capability and in this case lack of employability. And we all know the educational level in our country is in the rank of 82 according to PISA, an international university company. And we need to improve higher education. So our education is very bad. We are abandoned like 182 years from other countries, and we need to improve significantly like the other countries so we can make this country better. And then tighter the requirement for lecturers and professionals. We all know that some universities have some not really professional lecturers, and it will be it will be bad for some educational institution, and it will affect the students for getting a job. And I can say without lecturers education is broke. That's a common sense. I strongly agree with this motion because we will reaffirm the right of all citizens to get decent and qualified jobs through the education system. Second, getting a decent job is the right for all citizens guaranteed in the Constitution and the goals of sustainable development. As the member of government said, if the university cannot guarantee the quality of the university in obtaining decent work, competencies, it will destroy the right. And then if students get decent jobs, it will support the progress of the country because there are agents of change as revealed by the previous opening government. The universities play an important role in producing excellent and competent students. From education, an individual can be anyone, like business person, teacher, president, politicians, managers, designers, animators, and so on. It's all gained from education. No matter what you get it in the universities, in schools, in YouTube, it's common sense. From my opinion also, education right is a human right. Yes, you can sue it, you can sue the universities for the lack of employability because you have the right to do it, because this is the educational right and it is also the human right as stated in our constitution. And then the benefit of education for eliminating gender benefit of education for eliminating gender equality, reducing poverty, create sustainable development, preventing needless death and illness, and to fostering peace. And if you keep the status quo, university name will be bad and we will reduce to the lowest rank. Education allows us to make better and understand the world which we live, especially in our universities, and how they work. If it broke, fix it, change it, make it better. That means the opposition make the dangerous decision to our educational sector, which is very important. So we agree if the students can sue the universities for the lack of employability, because students is the most crucial thing, not only in the universities but the other educational institutes. I will cite a quote from Nelson Mandela: "Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world." Long life struggle, long life freedom. Thank you. I will be back to the Madam Speaker.
Right, thank you so much for that speech. Now, to end the entire debate and to close the case for the opposition bench, we'll call upon the opposition rep. You're here.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
I'm as the closing opposition, and my POI preference is on the chat box. If I am not answering it, I'm sorry. Okay, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and as we know that nowadays university has their facilities, has so many facilities that can be used as a bridge for students to get a decent job, to get a better job, better occupation that they want. But in the government team, always focus on the what the universities give to us, what the universities need to fix, what the universities lack of uh, an employability, what the universities lack of this and that, but none of them is talk about the students itself. The student itself is also an important role to fix the universities itself. Don't just by don't don't just blame the universities, suing the universities, and like the government closing whip said that we should fix it and change it and make it better universities. But how will we make how is supposed to make it better? How is supposed to make the universities better? We are the student itself. Not just blame the lecturers, not just blame the lecturers that a bad lecture you, and just ask about yourself. Am I am I am I having a am I be a good student? Am I doing my task from my lecturers? Am I work? Am I read the material from the lecturers? And so and so, and you know that I agree that the certificates from the good universities are one of the requirement of getting a job. But ladies and gentlemen, but the industry itself, it's just only one of the so many requirement that job is needed. The industries of job or occupancies often are usually doing sorry, the university, the job from the universities, I'm sorry, the job from the industries often give what is it, doing interviews to the one who is to the one who need job, or students like us that is need a job. So not only the requirements from good universities, that so many requirements that they need to go to the job that they want, a decent job. Like for example, they can train their soft skill, hard skills, and so many more. The like the opposite team said that we can use the facility from our universities to expand ourselves, develop ourselves, to be a better students, to have a decent job, to being to in the future to have a better job, and not just blame our university about the lack of employability. And on the opening government said that if the lecturer said and giving material, for example, on the YouTube videos, and the students are not watching them, and then you just blame the lecturers for giving the material that is not watched or forgotten by the student itself. And why you blame your lecturers? Why don't you blame yourself as not being an active students? Lecturers and the universities have so many tasks, have so many students to uh, to take care of them. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, we are students that we are adult enough to learn ourselves about about what we want to learn, what we want to prepare on the future, like like learning about the soft skills, like learning about hard skill, and so many more that can we learn in the universities. If you want to get a decent job, so train yourself to be a capable, to be a better student, so that the industries will be accept you as a better student, not accept you from the universities that where you come from. If you just blame the universities or suing the universities, it's just worse the situation. The universities, like the opposite team before said, that the universities will be in a bad reputation. The universities will be known as a bad reputation, and that not just making the universe better, it just make the universities make worse. And we all don't want that. The what's it I'm sorry, that like we know that we as a student are adult enough to learn and adapt that the new industries wants. We can learn it from many courses online, or we can join webinar, we can join seminars, and many more. When universities is giving you chance, so many chance to improve yourself, to make you a better student, to get a decent jobs. So once more, don't just sue your universities from their lack of employment, but ask yourself what you do for your universities, what you can make your universities better, and what can you make for your university to be have a better accreditation, to be have a better job or better employability. If for example, ladies and gentlemen, if you have in a universities that bad lecturers, so you can just critique them. You can just talk to the lecturers, sir, you lack of this, you lack of that, so that the critics can make them better. They can make them build better, not just suing them. Suing is just a bad way to critique your universities. And once again, we are all from the opposite team of the house are not agree with this motion that allows students to sue their universities for their lack of unemployability. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much for that speech. That marks the end of the debate. I'm not so sure about the schedule, but I think that you guys are supposed to have lunch after this. While the adjudicators are going to run through our notes and make the decisions. Are we supposed to be allocated to a breakout room, or are the participants supposed to leave